people, first off, who have no idea who the hell I am. I'm the guy who was behind the revelations of global mass surveillance in 2013. I worked for the CIA, I worked for the NSA as a contractor at the NSA, staff officer at the CIA. I was undercover working at embassies. And I talk about the difference between this in a book and contractor and government official and how it's all sort of lost its meaning. But I saw something wrong, and I saw basically the government was violating the law and what I believe to be the Constitution of the United States and more broadly human rights for everyone in the United States and around the world. There were domestic surveillance programs, there were mass surveillance programs that worked internationally. Basically everything that they could monitor, they were monitoring. And this is actually, like, people go, well, isn't that obvious? Isn't that what they're supposed to do? And this is weird, but the answer actually is no. Under the framework of our Constitution, the government is only supposed to be monitoring people that it has an individualized, particularized suspicion of wrongdoing for, right? We think about this in the investigative means, right? Like all those TV shows where they're like, go and get a warrant. The reason they have to do that, like we fought a revolution over this, a couple hundred years back, is the idea that when we had, kings, when we had governments of absolute power, they could simply go in your home and go, is this guy a pot smoker? Get his diary, whatever it is. And just like if you find evidence of a crime, you march him off to prison and it's all good. You found evidence, they're a criminal. Or you didn't find evidence, well, no harm, no foul. You're just doing what government does. We were trying to build a better system where yes, the government has extraordinary capabilities.
Okay, enough on that. I am sorry. I just had to play that here at the beginning for a minute. So yeah, you guys, what the fuck is going the fuck on? I am back for a 6th episode, surprisingly. I didn't know I'd be doing this many by myself, but that's okay, I guess. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, that guy talking right at the beginning of the podcast was a man by the name of Edward Snowden. And if you didn't know who Edward Snowden is, he is actually what we would consider a whistleblower. This is someone that I respect the fuck out of. Someone we need more people like Snowden, okay? So he leaked classified information from the NSA back in 2013, like you heard him talk about. And but at the time, he was employed by the CIA and subcontracted. He was a subcontractor and stuff for the CIA, subcontract, whatever, NSA. And he leaked a bunch of information because if you didn't know, you might have an anti-government friend or something in your friend group, but your constitutional rights are being infringed upon right now, while you're at work, while you're at home sleeping, while you're eating dinner. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. You are being monitored illegally by your fucking government, the ones you give money to every 2 fucking weeks. So, I'm taking necessary steps to kind of hide myself a little bit from them. I got I'm not gonna go too far into it, but I got blockers on all my computers. I got some really strong VPN on my phone. I usually when I'm at home, I have a laptop and I use that just for this podcast. That's it. Nothing else is on this is on this laptop. And I have, the microphones covered. I have the camera covered. Now that sounds really fucking crazy, but I don't want to be 45 years old and then all of a sudden something come up and like the government or whatever exists at that time, they're like, oh, well, this thing you did back in 2019, we have video proof because your laptop was open and all that. Fuck that shit. I'm trying to be untraceable. That's why you won't really find me on Facebook. My Facebook got hacked. I'm gonna leave it that way. I do have an Instagram and I do have a TikTok, but again, those are things that I will only use normally on a desktop with loads of security. I don't really want to tell you what kind of security I have because then someone could maybe breach it if they're like a super hacker. So fuck that. I spend like $190 a month on all my devices to keep them super duper duper locked up and private. So not even the government can get in, but that's just me saying that. The government could probably still get in because they're the fucking government. But anyway, yeah, dude. The fuck's going on, guys? All that anti-government shit right at the top of the episode. I don't fucking know what's going on right now. I have a few things to talk about. Listen, that is my notes, my big stack of notes, so I could feel really important, like a newsman or something. Hang on, let me stack them, make them all nice and neat. So, I saw something really quick. Actually, no, fuck that. We're not going to talk about that right now. Weed. What up with weed? You guys, so there's a lot of shit passing right now. There was a new bill that we could vote on and stuff that just came up to make marijuana federally legal. So it'll be legal on a federal level. That would mean you can have weed in any state. And it doesn't have to be recreationally legal in that state. But here's the catch. If you are living in a state, let's say like Ohio, I don't know if Ohio has recreational weed or not, but say they don't. And this law passes to where it's legal on a federal level. The police in that town and everything in the state can still arrest you. Just like, say I'm in Washington State and marijuana is 100% legal in every fucking way conceivable. You can have weed, do whatever you want. But the government, the federal government, can still come in, kick your fucking door down, take whatever they want, take all of your money, take all of your weed, and leave you there. So this happens all the time, but nobody talks about it. People's doors will get kicked in who may be affiliated with the pot industry, right? So someone who owns a dispensary or whatever, get their door kicked in. These fucked up DEA agents will take all the drugs, what they consider drugs. They'll just take all the weed. They'll take all of your cash and all of your, pricey belongings, anything they can get money for. And they take all that. But wait, no, they don't arrest you. They just come and take your fucking shit and then leave you there in an empty house. Because why? Because they fucking want your stuff. Because they can do it on a federal level. Marijuana might be recreationally legal, because states can govern themselves. But we have an ultimate government over the entire country that can come in and say, you guys might, think it's legal here, but to us, nowhere near where you're at, we can come in and take all of your fucking shit and do whatever we fucking want with it. Don't have to fucking, it's crazy. There's no record of, there's so many stories of this happening. And then the people will file a lawsuit against the DEA or the police that came in and did that. And there's no files, there's no evidence that the police ever went and did that at all. But some of these people are smart. They have cameras in their houses. They pull out their phone and they start recording when it happens. And yeah, dude, that you guys need to watch your fucking back because, man, this place is fucked up, dude. I don't like the government, and you should not either. What did this episode turn into? God damn. But anyway, let's hope that law passes and marijuana is legal on all federal levels, and we can just get over this because this should have been done hundreds of fucking years ago, and we could have taken advantage of hemp. We could have paper, oils, fossil fuels, everything that we have today except made out of hemp, 99 times cheaper than what we get it now. But that's why hemp is illegal, because you can make everything out of it for super duper cheap. But guess what? There's no money in that for the government or for big tobacco or for big oil companies or big gas, fossil fuel companies. There's no money in that for them. Just like the vaping industry. Big tobacco attacks the vaping industry because they're losing their golden goose. And by that, I mean their big pile of fucking money, which is big, nasty tobacco. People start converting over to vaping and they start losing money, and they're like, wait, no, yeah, make vaping illegal, man. You can't have any flavors, man. It's so fucking dumb. So, who wants to start a new country? Let's all put our money together, go buy an island somewhere, and start a new country of peaceful, loving, caring fucking people that want to fucking just advance into the stars, because that's where I want to go, is the stars. But anyway, coffee first. So that's that. Notes. I'm really excited today, and I don't really want to talk about why. So I'm really excited. I'm getting something today, something psychedelic from a homie, and I've been waiting for this for a while. Well, ever since last night, but technically I've been waiting for it for a long time. People that know me, like personally, know that I am a huge psychedelic person. I'm very much into psychedelics and just shooting my mind into another dimension, because I believe, and I might sound crazy, but I believe that there are higher dimensions around us all the time. It's just that we don't know how to access those dimensions. And first off, let me just say this, and you're like, wow, we need to go to this fourth dimension, fifth dimension, whatever. Well, there's a problem with that, in my opinion. Just like other people who study the subject would say you're a two-dimensional object. Say I have a piece of paper and I draw a line, just a small line, boom. So that's a two-dimensional object living in a two-dimensional world. And I can draw whatever, a cityscape or whatever on the piece of paper. And that two-dimensional object sees the two-dimensional world in a flat line, like just a flat plane. I know that might not make sense, but try to imagine being a two-dimensional object in a two-dimensional world where everything is flat. Like everything is just a flat plane, and you see things slivers at a time. But in your two-dimensional world, I mean, you see everything, even though it's just a sliver at a time. So if a three-dimensional sphere just dipped in to that two-dimensional world, even though it's a three-dimensional object, those two-dimensional beings would only be able to see two dimensions of the three-dimensional object because they're living in the second dimension. So if this three-dimensional object just dips into the second dimension, it would be like a line. The only thing they'd be able to see is a sliver of that three-dimensional object getting bigger or smaller, if, you know, whether it's going up or down. So they'd only be able to see a tiny sliver of it in two dimensions. And they're like, what the fuck is this thing? Where did that come from? You know, what is this? I don't know what it is. And then it, leaves the second dimension, whatever. But to us, humans, we're three-dimensional beings living in a three-dimensional world. Or some people would say a four-dimensional world, but this is not. This is a three-dimensional world. When we see that three-dimensional object, it's literally just a sphere. But to a flat two-dimensional being, they can only see a tiny sliver at a time. So if you took that two-dimensional being out of the 2D world and put him in our 3D world and showed him a beautiful mountainscape with the sunset and everything, he wouldn't be able to see it. He would only be able to see the tiniest, most minuscule sliver at a time. So he would have no idea what he is looking at. He would just see colors transitioning, from whatever to whatever, if you're going up or down. So to us, three-dimensional beings in this three-dimensional world, if a four-dimensional object or four-dimensional being decided to just dip into our dimension, our reality, we would only be able to see 3 dimensions of it at a time. And now thinking about it is really hard. A lot of people's brains can't comprehend this concept. So think about it. Think about standing on the sidewalk and looking up at the sky. And then out of nowhere, this bright blue sphere just dips in through the sky. And now there's this bright blue sphere in the sky. But really, it's not a sphere. It's a 4-dimensional object. But you don't know that because you can only perceive 3-dimensional objects because we live in a 3-dimensional world. So imagine that 4-dimensional object picking you up out of your reality, your dimension, and taking you back to its dimension. It would be the same thing as the 2-dimensional guy coming into the 3-dimensional realm. You wouldn't understand what you're looking at because our brains have evolved to understand the 3-dimensional world, how it is. And that sucks, you know what I mean? Because I have been studying the subject a lot, and it's really frustrating because I feel like we've kind of held ourselves back indefinitely through technology and knowledge over the last 20,000 years or whatever. And what I said about this is where I was getting with psychedelics. So psychedelics, if you've never done psychedelics, it's going to be hard to understand. But when you take or ingest psychedelics, it's like your mind, it's like something inside your mind blocks you from seeing these other dimensions or seeing reality for what it really is. And when you take these psychedelic drugs, it's like they go into your brain and unlock a door that you normally can't access. And you have access to all these higher dimensions and all this crazy shit that is so hard to explain. But that's like with DMT. Like, I strongly believe this, and it makes me sound crazy, but unless you've done DMT or any psychedelics, the person explaining it is gonna sound like a fucking psychotic freak or something, But I've done DMT before, and it's so short-lived, but it's amazing in that short-lived moment. So I take a hit of DMT and close your eyes and lay back on the couch, and you literally get blasted into a whole nother dimension. Like, physically, you could feel it, touch it, smell it, taste it. It's there, dude. It's not like this is so fucking crazy to me how people just say they're hallucinations. It's not, bro. The human brain is so fucking strong. Like, we don't even understand the human brain. That's what people don't get. They think all these average Joes out here drinking their fucking Starbucks and all this other dumb shit think we have the answers to everything when we fucking don't have answers to anything. We don't have the answers to the universe or to why we even exist or to what our brain is. We don't even know what our fucking brain is, let alone we don't even know what gravity is. Like gravity, dog, the thing that keeps us on this earth. We need to be focusing on this shit instead of the new iPhone 11 Pro Max fucking quad camera bullshit. Like, who fucking cares about that, dude? I would rather live in the old times wearing a robe, eating bread, and advancing with fucking space technology than fucking have an iPhone 20 that can fucking permit holograms and shit. I don't care about that shit. I want to see the future of humanity go way out into the stars. This is where our focus should be, is on our consciousness, because we don't even know what consciousness is, and the stars, because those things are intertwined, if you didn't know that. Because us humans, like, we are made up of atoms and everything. I mean, you can't see that, but all we are is just a cluster of atoms and shit. And like, we are conscious, we have feelings, we are alive. I mean, a lot of people think that consciousness lies in the brain. Why does consciousness lie in the brain? Like, that doesn't, to me, that doesn't make any sense. We have a brain, but that doesn't, like, my brain can conceive the fact that it's conscious and that I do have a brain. It's so fucking mind-boggling. I don't think our consciousness is in our brain, and I do think that when you sleep, these dreams you have and shit like that, I don't think that's just by chance. Dreams and hallucinations and shit like that are something from your brain. Like, maybe your brain trying to tell you something, or dreams are like the key to something. You need to really pay attention to your dreams, because there is amazing shit happening in your dreams, especially when you figure out how to lucid dream. And if people don't know what lucid dreaming is when you fall asleep, you go into a dreamlike state, and usually, like with me, I can look at something or count the fingers on your hand, or something that will trigger you to know that you're asleep. So it's like you're consciously awake in a dream. So in the dream, you can do whatever you want. You can touch things and feel things and go do whatever you want. You could marry the love of your life and go be in a castle on top of a mountain, or you could go explore the universe and go live on another planet. It's inconceivable what you could do in lucid dreams. And I don't think those are just dreams, like those are just in your head. I don't think that at all. I think that a lot of dreams, like when you're in a dream, you can interact with other beings and shit like that. Like, especially when you're on DMT, you go to another dimension and you can meet these beings who have been waiting for you. You don't have to talk to them. You just feel like they can telepathically send you these feelings, and you just know they've been standing there waiting for you for an eternity, and you're finally there, and all this knowledge that they want to give you and open you up to the bigger picture of understanding life. And it's fucking crazy. I don't think it's all just in your head. I think we actually go somewhere. That sounds crazy, but there have been so many scientific studies on this, and just so many studies in general on what the brain does when you're going to sleep versus what the brain does when you die. And it's like exactly the fucking same thing. Measuring brain waves when a person is passing away will give you the same result as measuring brain waves from someone when they are asleep. Now, the brain waves and things will be a little stronger on the person who's dying, which makes sense, because I feel like your consciousness, who you are when you die, goes somewhere else. I'm not a religious person. I don't do the pearly gates of heaven and shit like that. But I do believe in consciousness and in everlasting consciousness that does go somewhere else. Where somewhere else, I really don't know. But I feel like that's something we should definitely be focusing on a broader picture. Like, I know people are studying this shit now, but I feel like it's so important, and there's such a minuscule amount of people working on this. We need to work on the keys to our existence and the keys to the universe. And I feel like after we figure a few things out, we will just jet blast into the fucking future out of nowhere. Like, we're working on technology right now. They say by 2045, we'll be able to upload our consciousness into another body or into like a computer. So we'll see where that goes, because there's a lot of people making promises for like an everlasting life. You'll be able to live for, hundreds of years, and, be able to age yourself backwards, and, so we'll see. We'll see what fucking happens. But we'll get off that for a minute. Something that I saw that's completely unrelated. I saw in the news. So it was back in October. These white girls were apparently, well, not apparently, I mean, I saw them in costumes. They were dressed up in Ku Klux Klan costumes, KKK members, and they were beat up. Like, they were physically attacked and assaulted by black men. Okay? Right. I know a lot of people are like, well, yeah, they were dressed up as KKK. But first, let me just say this. It was Halloween, right? That doesn't justify anything. They were dressed up in supposed KKK costumes. I didn't see any badges or any swastika, not swastikas. I didn't see any bolts or anything like that. So yeah, they were just plain white robes with plain white hoods. They could have been ghosts for all I know, but anyway, everybody said they were KKK. So KKK, little white girls in KKK costumes, beat up and attacked by a group of black dudes. Now, I just want to know if there was a group of black kids that dressed up for Halloween and they all went as like Black Lives Matter people or Black Panther people. Let's just say they were Black Panthers. And a group of white people started to pick on them and point them out and attack them, beat them up. That shit would be all over social media as a fucking hate crime. These white kids are racist. And, what's the world coming to? Oh my God, these white kids are gonna, spend so much time in prison, blah, 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 blah. I feel like, now this might sound fucked up, but I feel like in today's day and age, the whole black and white thing is a bunch of fucking bullshit. You're black, so fucking what? I'm white, so fucking what? Who cares? These are like the most minuscule of fucking problems we have on this world. I don't know. It's just really fucking stupid to be spending and wasting time on these things. Like, but I'm trying to make a point. Like, if they were black dudes in Black Panther costumes, putting their fist up, they're like fucking Black Power, and they got beat up, it would be racist. But it's not racist for a bunch of black kids to beat up white female girls, first off, because they thought they were in KKK costumes on Halloween. But nothing is going to be done to them because everybody's like, oh, well, yeah, you'd be mad too. But it's like in situations like that, it's like the only people's feelings that are taken into consideration are that of the black people. And that sounds fucked up, but it's like we care. It's like white people are so fucking afraid of offending a black person. It's 2019. Quit looking at color. Who fucking cares, dude? When I look at a person, I don't see their skin color. I see who that person is. Like, what do they do for a living? What do they do with their free time? What are their hobbies? There's so many other things to take into consideration besides the color of their skin. But I feel like so many white people are so on edge about every single little fucking thing that they do or say because they're afraid of it coming off racist. I think is a bunch of fucking bullshit. I think everybody, black and white, need to get the fuck over it and move the fuck on with your piddly little lives. because this shit is a waste of fucking time. But that's on y'all. I'm not going to waste my life making arguments like that. So who fucking really cares anyway? I need a drink of coffee because that shit kind of got me a little frustrated. So there was an episode of South Park. We'll just move right the fuck along here. There was an episode of South Park for anti-trans jokes. They had a new episode come out, and it was all about anti-trans people. I just gotta say, I support the fuck out of that shit, because I think right now anybody who listens to this podcast knows how I feel about transgender people. I don't think transgender is a real fucking thing. I'm not saying that you don't feel like you're a man trapped in a woman's body. I'm just saying that maybe you should go see a psychiatrist, because that's not what's really going on with your fucking brain. There are chemical imbalances going on with you, homeboy. Go get that shit figured out. But yeah. So South Park, you know what I mean? Keep that shit the fuck up. South Park is like one of my favorite fucking shows in the entire world. So that's just like, there was a whole big fucking ordeal with South Park saying faggot. Because there was a point in time when they like did something to say faggot on TV, and now you can watch South Park and they will say faggot. There's an episode where they go shitty shitty fag fag shitty shitty fag fag, how do you do? Like they count how many times they could say shit and fag in an episode, and I think that's the coolest fucking thing ever. And if you don't support South Park, go put a fucking big rusty thing up your ass, because I don't fucking care. So yeah, no. Anyway, off all that dumb shit, psychedelics. I'm really excited to get some fucking psychedelics and go to another dimension and speak with these interdimensional beings. I'm so fucking pumped. Anyway, so I've taken up quite a bit of time just from talking about this dumb shit. Whoa, did you hear that? I fucking lisped. What the fuck? I bit my tongue and it totally sounded like I was gay for a second. Like this, like, hey guys. Oh my god, dog. What the fuck? Hey guys, we're gonna talk about psilocybin. Okay. So if you guys don't know, I actually did study mycology. I took online courses to study mycology. My little brother Quentin, he hasn't taken any courses to study mycology, but he is very, very well informed on psilocybin, magic mushrooms, lookalikes, all that type of shit. I would trust my brother to go out and pick good shit without any kind of a field guide or anything. He's, one of the people I would trust to pick wild mushrooms, come back, and I would actually ingest them. Because a lot of people don't know what the fuck to look for when they're looking for mushrooms. Me and my brother, we have spent countless hours just walking around suburban areas, and we've also spent countless hours walking around the forest, just getting lost in the fucking woods, trying to find magic mushrooms. And we've been successful a few times. I think one of the most memorable times, well, really quick, one of the most memorable times of mushroom hunting I have with my brother is when it was like a cold, rainy morning and we didn't have shit else to do. So we went way the fuck out. I remember where we went, but I don't remember how to explain how to get there. But anyway, we woke up early in the morning. We got our coffee, breakfast, whatever, and we walked all the fucking way. It was like a few miles. It was like 4 or 5 miles to just the entrance of the woods, like to where we found a spot to where we wanted to just dip off the road and go into the woods and get lost, which is what we did. We went off. We found a little like beat up trail that didn't look like it'd been walked in a long time. And we just cut off to that trail and we started walking. We had no idea where we were at. I mean, we knew where we were at, like physically on a map, but we did not know we were at in the woods. Like, we've never been there before. We'd never explored that area before. So it was all new, and it was very easy to get lost and turned around and stuff. So we walk, and me and my brother, you know, we just have a really good conversation because we're like smoking and shit like that as we're walking around. And it's all about the adventure. You don't necessarily have to find mushrooms to have a good time mushroom hunting. You know, it's really about the experience, getting out there, getting in the woods, getting your hands dirty, getting wet, you know what I mean? Digging in the mulch, trying to find mycelium, you know what I mean? So you can come back for a patch possibly in the future. Yeah, I mean, we spent so much time doing that. And that day, specifically, we spent hours. I mean, we were probably in the woods for like 4 or 5 hours. And the fucked up part about it is because we were lost. But we kind of turned our focus towards mushrooms after we figured out we were lost. We just laser eye focus, me and Quentin, whenever we were out there, we'd be able to spot the tiniest mushroom under a fucking leaf, you know, 50 yards away pretty much. And even if they weren't psychedelic mushrooms or edible at all, we would still stop and like observe it, you know, check out its colors, all the gills, you know, maybe do a field test on it real quick, like with a stem, take pictures of it just because that's fucking cool to do. And I remember that I have a few pictures of that day, actually, of getting lost out there. And I remember like stumbling across like an old barn or something like that. We came across like an old building, and it was really fucking creepy and eerie. And we never did find magic mushrooms that day, not to my knowledge. I mean, this was years and years ago, but I don't think we ever did find magic mushrooms that day. But we were so lost, and neither one of our phones had reception, and I was starting to get worried. I mean, we were walking every which fucking way. We climbed an elevation to try to find a road. Like, that's how lost we were. We were like climbing trees and up hills and trees on top of hills to try and get the highest elevation we could to find a road. And we finally did figure out which direction we needed to walk, which was a long fucking way. I mean, we walked for fucking miles getting lost in this wet fucking forest. And it was funny as hell because we got to the road. My little brother called my mom and was like, "Mom, you need to come pick us up, whoop-de-whoop, whatever." And she pulls up in her little, you know, little shitbox Honda, little baby blue shitbox Honda. And we were just sopping fucking wet from head to toe, just sopping wet. But we were so happy, you know what I mean? Just because we were out in nature, you know, checking out mushrooms and shit like that. So it was really fun. I have so many memories like that. But there was this one time in particular I remember where we did trip on mushrooms really fucking hard. I was actually working at my grandma's house, just doing yard work because me and all my brothers over the years and my cousin and everything, we all would like take turns, or my grandma would like take turns like hiring us to come and do yard work. I feel like I did the most yard work out of everybody. I spent fucking years working on her yard, like just pulling weeds, sweeping leaves, fucking pine needles because she has so many goddamn trees around her house, rototilling the garden, just mowing the lawn, all sorts of fucking shit. And it was like a perfect time for mushrooms to grow. I went to her house and I was picking weeds out of the flower bed that ran across the front of her property in her front yard. It was just like a 3 feet deep or a 3 foot wide bed of mulch all the way across her fence line. and it was for roses. She had rose bushes all the way across her fence line. And then she had like a bunch of mulch and bricks around the bottom of this one tree. And that's like the perfect environment for cyanescens to grow in. Cyanescens being a type of psilocybe mushroom. And it's actually one of the most plentiful psilocybe mushrooms that grow in the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, I was doing some weeding. You know, I was there for a few hours. I was just on my hands and knees, pulling weeds, whatever. And I remember seeing out of the corner of my eye, I looked and I seen these mushrooms just poking up with like the waviest caps. They're just wavy caps, like a light brown wavy cap with a nice little dark ring around the edge. And I was like, no fucking way. I was like, I can't get this lucky. There's no way those are good. So I get closer to them. And there's like a bunch. There's a decent little patch. And I get closer and closer to him, get on my hands and knees, and I look at him. And I look at this one, and it has a big, fat blue speck on the stem. And I was like, yep. I didn't even need to do anything else. As soon as I saw that blue, I knew that was it. I picked all of them. I probably shouldn't have even picked the little teeny tiny pinners. But I picked those two because why not? So I picked everything, and I probably had like, I don't know, it's hard to say how much I had because they were all wet, but I would say dry, it was probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7 grams maybe. But I pick all the mushrooms, I take my jacket off, lay it on the ground, I pick all the mushrooms and I put them on the inside of my jacket. And then I like throw my jacket over my shoulder, go inside like I'm hot. And I sit on the couch. Grandma's like, you done, buddy? I was like, yep, I'm done. And then I pick up the house phone because I don't have a really good cell phone or anything, I don't think at that time. Pick up the house phone and call Quentin, and he answers, and I'm just like, the only thing I say, I'm like, cyanescens. And he's like, what? I was like, cyanescens, bro. And he's like, you got some? I was like, yeah. And then he was trying to talk to me, but I was sitting right next to my grandma, so I was trying to be like minimal with the words I was saying. So I was just like, I'll be home soon. Ha ha ha. Click. And fucking grandma takes me home. She's probably wondering why I don't have my jacket on in the cold fucking wet weather, but whatever. So I'm so excited. I get inside. Hang on. Bitch. But I get inside and I lay my jacket down. I show Quentin, and me and Quentin are like freaking out. We're like jumping up and down, like, fuck yeah, some cyanescens. Fucking finally, we're going to trip. We're going to have so much fun. There's like, these cyanescens were fucking dank. They were like picture perfect cyanescens that you would like see in a book. And fucking, there was so much blue all over the caps and the stems. And me and my brother didn't even fucking care about drying them out. Like, we thought we were fucking mushroom experts. So we get everything in order. My dad gives us dinner. We wait till he goes downstairs to start jamming out. And everything's said and done. We're all good and fed, and we're in good moods. Got a positive vibe going. We split the mushrooms between the two of us, all of them. We just 2 servings, half and half of like, 6 grams, 3 each. We fucking eat them up. We chew them up, swallow it with what I think was cherry Kool-Aid. Because every time I drink cherry Kool-Aid now, I think about eating mushrooms. So yeah, it's a weird feeling. Like every time I take a drink of cherry Kool-Aid, which isn't very often, but every time I get the chance to, I immediately am hit with like a mushroom taste in my mouth. It's really fucking weird. But we swallowed them. We ate, we were sitting there watching TV, and I could start to feel it come on, like really strong. Like my fucking insides like started like tingling in like the coolest fucking way. And like I felt really light and fuzzy. And like I look at Quentin and I'm smiling. I know I'm smiling. I can fucking feel it. And like I just start giggling at fucking everything, just giggling like elementary school kid. giggling uncontrollably at everything, which was like the first phase. So me and Quentin are in the bedroom giggling our fucking asses off, like walking around looking at stuff, laughing at it because it's funny. I remember at one point we both got off the couch and went into the closet, and we had like an empty Burger King bag with like old trash in it from like eating earlier that day. It was sitting on top of one of our dressers, and like I just start throwing haymakers at this bag, and I'm looking at Quentin throwing these haymakers, and we're just laughing like while I'm punching this fucking Burger King bag. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but it was like the funniest fucking thing ever. And so some time goes by, and you know, the giggling kind of wears down a little bit, and we're like in this more peaceful mode where we're just both like zoned out on the couch. And we shared a room at the time, and I had a mattress on the floor, and my comforter, you know, was like wrinkly and stuff, and behind that, or like right to the side of that, we had a sliding glass door in our bedroom to go to the outside whenever we wanted. And we had a huge curtain, like this cream colored yellowish curtain with all these different waves in it. And I remember sitting on the couch, like looking at my comforter on the bed, and like these faces would form and morph, and then form and morph, and like all over the bed, these different faces were like taking shape and then disappearing and forming into another different face. And like I looked up at the curtain, and the curtain was doing the same thing. Like these faces would form out of nothing and then like vanish, and like you could see the movement, and then like another face would form. And it wasn't scary, it was like awe-inspiring. I was like so amazed by it. And so I'm assuming that was like the second phase of the psilocybin, the magic of the mushrooms. And another part that I do remember was just fucking sitting there on the couch. And this is an experience that I've noticed a lot of people have, is when they're sitting in a room, the room starts to breathe. And like, so the whole room started to breathe like it was alive. Like the walls would suck in like it was taking a breath, and then expand out, and then suck in and expand out. And it was fucking insane. Like I could not believe this was fucking happening. It's so crazy. It's so hard to explain when you're sober. I mean, it's probably hard to explain when you're high too, but like you have to experience this shit for yourself to know what I'm talking about. And I remember one point in the night, me and Quentin were like just having the most peaceful time. And I remember getting paranoid about my dad finding out, you know, that we were up here tripping. Not that he would care that we were on mushrooms, but that we were being really loud and obnoxious, because we were like laughing and punching shit and pushing shit over, just being loud, dancing and having fun. So we were kind of paranoid there at the end about my dad like hearing all the noises and him coming upstairs and like just staring at us. Like, because he used to do that a lot. Sometimes he'd just open our door and look at us and then like shake his head up and down like, yeah, okay, and then like shut the door. Fucking what the fuck? But I felt like that was going to happen, and I did not want that to happen, because I did not know why, but I was like, I do not want to see my dad right now. So my little brother called my mom, and we were still kind of like laughy funny about it because it was so stupid. And like the phone call was so easy but so confusing at the same time, because we were like, Mom, you need to come pick us up. And she was like, why? What's going on? You know, like, we're like, nothing. You just need to come pick us up. We're tripping and we don't want to be here anymore. And she's like, okay. And then I was like, wait. I kept telling Quentin, wait, are we sure we want to go? Do we really want to go? I don't know if I really want to go. I was like, I want to leave, but I don't know if I want to leave or not. And I was so confused because I wanted to leave, but I also wanted to stay. I was literally having two feelings at once, and it's really fucking confusing to try and think about now or even explain. But I wanted to go, but I wanted to stay at the same time. So my mom was getting frustrated, and she was like, just fucking tell me. Do you want me to come pick you up? Or do you want to stay at home? And I was like, it's a yes or no question, but I'm giving you an in-between answer. And she was like, God damn it, whatever. And she never came to pick us up. But that is one of those memories that I just have really strong in my head. Because me and my brother, I got lots of fucking stories to come about me and my brother Quentin. And I got lots of stories about me and all my brothers. But me and Quentin I've spent more time with Quentin than any of my brothers. Not, on purpose. It's just how things worked out. So from that, me and Quentin have a lot of memories together. Good and some bad. Lots of memories. We've got a lot of experience under our belt for being, as young as we are. I feel like as many experiences and memories I have with him, I feel like I'm a 45, 46-year-old man that's halfway done with my life. So I've got like 3,000 episodes worth of talking about that shit. So how long is this episode? Wow, this episode has been going on a lot longer than I anticipated, and I didn't even get to anything extremely crazy. So this is like my first real boring episode, I guess. I don't know. I'm not gonna drag this one on any longer than I need to. I really wanted to get on a quick little story about me and my mom, but that can wait until the next episode, you stupid motherfuckers. Yeah, I can wait. Fuck it. So what you got from today's episode was a bunch of anti-government rants, magic mushrooms, marijuana, and Edward Snowden. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Anybody who's actually been coming back for each and every episode, I just want to let you know I appreciate you. If you're still listening and I know you, come hit me up. I'll give you $1. I will give you a fucking $1 if you find me in person and tell me you listen to my podcast. Because if you're listening to this now, that means you probably listened to the whole thing. So you deserve a fucking $1, bitch. But something to leave off of really quick. Life is short, guys. That's such a cliche thing to say, but life really is very short. I've suffered and had many losses this year. I don't want anybody else to lose somebody and have regrets. So, like I said before, I don't want to get flowers after I'm dead. If you want to give me fucking flowers, you need to give them to me while I'm still alive so that I can enjoy those motherfucking beautiful fucking things, right? Because who's going to enjoy those flowers after I'm dead or after you're dead? Fuck that. Tell that person you love them. If you have a crush on somebody, go do it. Go tell them that you like them and you want to date or fuck or whatever. Life's too short, guys. Tell your mom you love her. Tell your dad you love her. Tell your siblings that you love them. And until next time, my name's Zach Hines, a.k.a. Zach motherfucking nasty bitch. I hope you guys took something from today's episode. And until next time, this has been the motherfucking Hindsight Podcast, bitch. Y'all have a great fucking day. Peace.